Hey guys, it's Andrew Escobar back here with another guide. Now, what I'm going to be teaching you today is how to install a laptop hard drive on your Xbox 360. Now, the reason why you do this is because it's a heck of a lot cheaper to do this than to actually buy an official Xbox hard drive. Now, there's a few things I have to let you guys know before you end up doing this. One, you have to have a Western Digital Scorpio hard drive. It gets a little more detailed than that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Two, you're going to need a flash drive, one that you're going to have to format it in a special way. And you're going to need two softwares. I'll link to where do you get the softwares. And I'll also link to a text guide where you can read how to do it, but I'm going to do it for you in video. So there's also a few questions you may have, like some people wonder, if I use a third-party hard drive, will I get banned for it on the 360 network? No, you will not. The only way you'll get banned is if you modify the HD DVD player at all. So, there's that little bit, and there's going to be a bit of using Microsoft DOS. So it's going to be a little difficult for those who aren't really computer savvy, but I'll walk you through it. Don't worry. You're going to need a laptop. I mean, you can use a desktop, but it's easier to use a laptop for this. Trust me. I'm going to walk through all the steps. It's going to take a little bit of time, but if you just bear with me, you'll understand how the heck to do all this. We're going to be using a Western Digital Scorpio, I think 240 gigabyte, around there. And basically, the gist of all this is I'm going to explain to you quickly what you do, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. So basically what you do is you take a flash drive. I just use an 8 gigabyte flash drive. You plug it in your computer. You download a special software that allows you to format the flash drive so that you can boot MS-DOS from it. And once you have the flash drive formatted and all that, you transfer a special file, which is the HDD Hackr file, onto the flash drive. And then you're done with the flash drive part. Next, you take a laptop, like the one right here, and what you do is you end up removing the plate, which for me is right here, for the 2.5-inch hard drive. And what you do is you remove that hard drive and you put in the Western Digital Scorpio. And then from there, you boot up the laptop from the MS-DOS flash drive file, and you enter in some command prompts, and what it does is it makes the HDD Hackr file run, and the HDD Hackr file will then it'll then install, make it so that the hard drive can be detected by Xbox 360 Slim. And then once you're done with all of that, the command prompts and the formatting of the hard drive, you take the hard drive out of the laptop and you put it in your 360. From there, you go through a 360 menu where you can format the hard drive there. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, why can't I use a different hard drive other than a Scorpio? It's because the software we're using, the HDD Hackr, is only programmed to use the Scorpio series from Western Digital. So you're really limited on the options here. You can use different, amounts of space. Like you can use like a 40 gig or a 20 gig or an 80 gig or 120 gig or 240, stuff like that. It's got to be the right increments though. So once you put it in the 360 and format and everything, you should be able to use it. I'm not quite sure why the software is only designed to use Scorpios from Western Digital, but I'm just following the instructions here for you. One last thing I want to cover before we actually move on to how to do all of this is that you have to use Microsoft DOS. There is no other way to do it. It won't work on XP, it won't work on Vista, it won't work on 7. This is why we're booting from the flash drive with MS-DOS. Even in command prompt, it's not going to work. And the way that it has to be done, you can't use like DOSBox. which is a DOS emulator. So we got to do this specifically in a certain manner. So we're going to move on right now to how to format the flash drive. We're going to go through the links. I'm going to basically show you the website where you get all the stuff from. I'm going to show you where to click on the links, how to download it, how to install it, how to format the flash drive, how to download the other thing and transfer it over to the flash drive. So this will take about 4 or 5 minutes the most to do. Just follow the instructions, and like I promised, the link is in the description. It should be the first link. It's the link to everything. So click on that and just follow along. Okay, so when you click on the link, this is the website you go to get all the software. The website is xboxhacker.net, yada yada. So this is where you get the HDD Hackr stuff and you know, junk like that. So what you do is you plug your flash drive into the computer. I'm sorry that I'm using a camera for all this. I know I should be using a capture software, but it's just easier to do this like this. So now that you got your flash drive in there, you know, it'll say yada yada, I already did this. So first what you do is you click on this bootable USB drive creator tool. My mouse is being a little fussy. And you click on that, and then over here it wants you to download it, so just download it. Save. I already downloaded it, but I'm going to download it again for you guys. And over here on my third monitor, it says this. You just simply open it up. And actually what I did is I went back and extracted to the desktop. This will be easiest. So yes to all. So I extracted it to the desktop. And if you look up here, that is the file you want right here. So you double click on that and you get this software. What you want to do is you want to select the actual drive, which my drive is drive J, and it has to be FAT32. Create bootable drive is what you want to select, and in order to do that you need to click the ... and search for the actual files you just extracted. Mine are on the desktop, so you want to go to USB drive boot files, which is the file you want, and then you're going to click on MS-DOS, and that's the file you want. So here you go. And you click OK, and then you click Start, and then it'll ask you if you want to do this because it'll lose all your files. Just click Yes, and then it'll be doing it. And you just wait for it to finish. It should be relatively quick, and as you can see now, it's actually done. So once you get that on there, then you close it. Then you open up the actual flash drive, and now what you do is you go back to that website. You want the latest one, which is 1.3, and you click that, and it asks you to download, save files, save it to downloads, and I already downloaded it, but I'll download it again. And you open that up, and what you want to do is, you see this file that says HDD Hackr. You simply drag it over to the flash drive and you let it copy there. So now we got it dragged over to the flash drive. We've got everything we need in the flash drive. And that is just step 1. Step 2, we need to actually go to a laptop. This involves taking out the laptop hard drive and putting it in with a new one. Okay, so now that you got the flash drive all ready to go, the next step is to actually take the Scorpio Blue hard drive, and I'll give you a little bit of a close-up on that. And in order to put this in the laptop, we actually need to take out the actual hard drive that's already in here. So for me, I'll have to unscrew this section over here. it just pops off, and this gets pulled, and voila, that hard drive is out. However, mine requires a special adapter. So in order to do this, you'll have to unscrew 4 other screws. Now we'll use this box to house my extra screws. Always have a box ready because you don't want to lose anything, so it's a good place to have for the extra screws. So I basically just unscrew each of these sides, and it'll take just a moment to do that. I'm not going to speed up or anything because I want you to be able to do this relatively real time. And I don't really think you can see what I'm doing, but I think you'll be able to understand. I'm just removing the hard drive because it requires this little bay. Okay, so now that I got those screws out, I can simply just pull the hard drive off. And as you can see, they are both just standard 2.5 inch drives. I'm going to pull this little device off. Put my first hard drive here. I'm going to put this device on the regular drive. Now your computer might be a little different. Oops. So, I mean, each laptop's a little different, but mine has to do like this. And then basically we just put it back in here. Yeah, so we just put it back in the housing. We want this thing to be nice and secure. Then we just screw them back in. Now since this is only temporary, I really only need 2, 1 on each side. Because I'm just going to be removing it in a moment anyway. Voila. Okay, so now that I got the Scorpio Blue hard drive in the special housing for my laptop, I simply just line it up correctly and slide it back in. And after that, I just put the regular casing back on to keep it nice and tight in there so it doesn't slip off or anything. Because you don't want it coming out while we're trying to format it. Alright, so now we got it nice and all in there. Now is when we flip the computer around and we actually boot it up. And of course, as we did before, our flash drive will have the appropriate software so that it can do what it needs to do. So with that in place, now turn on the laptop. Okay, so now we get to the part that's relatively difficult, which means we're going to be working inside Microsoft DOS. So I'm going to walk you step by step through it, and we're going to actually do it. Now, since my computer has the new Scorpio hard drive in there, it's automatically defaulting to my flash drive, which has Microsoft DOS already in. So it's going to boot up, and it's going to see this screen, right? It says Microsoft Windows Millennium, copyright Microsoft Corp, yada yada. So we have it all to that, and assuming you have HDD Hackr version 1.3 and the HDDS bin file, and I'll have a link to both the 250 gigabyte bin file and the 120 gigabyte bin file. Look in the description for it. You're going to need the correct one. So once you have the bin file and HDD Hackr 1.30 on the flash drive, you can boot it up, and then we're ready to go. So first thing we're going to type in is HDD Hackr And then it brings us to this. Now this menu is where you select the actual hard drive you just installed. So mine happens to be number 4. So yours might be different. So find which one it is. And then since mine is 4, I simply press 4 and then enter. Now it asks us what do we want to do. We want to flash the firmware. So we press F and enter. Now here's the tricky part. Based on whatever you decide to name your bin file is going to determine how this works. I personally feel you should just name the bin file 1. Just the number 1. And here's the tricky part. It's a bin file, and this is Microsoft DOS, so you have to be really specific. So we type 1.bin. And then it actually detects it. If you don't do it correctly, you're going to get an error that says check some error, blah, 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 and you didn't do it right. So now it wants us to name a backup file. I'm simply going to call it backup. And I just have to call it backup. That's all. I don't have to enter anything else. Click enter. File backup already exists. You're going to overwrite it. Since I already did this once before, that's going to give me that. But for you, doing it the first time, it shouldn't have to do that. Now it's going to bring us to this page. And it's asking you, information on file1.bin does not match the drive's firmware info. Do you want to flash Xbox 360 compatible firmware? You want to press Y and then enter. And then you'll see this screen, see the green letters and everything, right? It says that it completely did it right and everything. Now it wants us to disconnect the hard drive from the computer and put it into the Xbox 360. So once you've done this all correctly, that's all you need to do. Next step is putting it in the 360. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the computer. Do not restart. Turn off. And now comes the last step. You're going to take the hard drive out. You've got to put it in the 360. So to do that, we're going to unplug everything here. We're going to remove said random stuff. And now we're going to take the hard drive out. Okay, so when we get the hard drive, we're going to put it in this slot here. Oh, I don't want the camera focus. We put it in that slot right there. It's on the top or bottom. I don't know exactly which one. I think it's the bottom. And just line up the holes correctly and it goes in on there. Okay, you're going to go to console settings and you're going to want to go to system info. And then you're going to look for the serial number. You're going to write down the serial number. Then you're going to go back to memory and then hard drive. And from there, you're going to go back to the format menu. Press Y and go to format. Click yes. Enter serial number. I'm going to block this out so you can't see the serial number. Sorry guys, can't let that serial number get out. And my brother's going to input the serial number, and then from there you should be able to format the hard drive, thus giving you a complete 200 something gigabytes for half the price. So now the formatting is in progress because it's got the serial number in there. And there you go, 228 gigabytes free for half the price.